A very small amount of gasoline in the field again because of the technology. It was primarily at that time a terror weapon. Imagine today, if you've never seen a weapon like this operate, and you will get a shock when you see one in for real operate today, like that, it can be very, very terrifying if you're on the receiving end. Ironically though, the United States was on the tail end of technological development concerning these weapons. In 1941, when we entered into World War II, the Germans and the Japanese both had better, more effective flamethrowers than what we did. The game changer, though, came after the Battle of Guadalcanal. At that time, the 1st Marine Division had 40 flamethrowers in its entire inventory, primarily handled by the engineer. By the time we landed on the island of Iwo Jima in 1944, each division had well over 480 flamethrowers assigned to them. What was the game changer? What changed the use? One is the Japanese, although they had better technology, were now fighting a defensive war. They were the ones taking up positions in caves and bunkers, and we had to go dig them out. The other game changer, as we copied all the Japanese technology, improved our flamethrowers very, very quickly, and turned them into the units you see here. Now, what Sergeant Smith is wearing is an M2-2 flamethrower. These first saw action in 1944. It's a very, very simple tool to operate. Like that, you have a pressure tank, very similar to a modern firefighter's self-contained breathing apparatus. That goes to a pressure reducer, pressure regulator, into 2 product tanks. Each one of these product tanks holds 4.5 gallons of gasoline. Not diesel, not kerosene, but pure high-octane gasoline. One of the things we picked up from the Japanese that radically improved the capability of this weapon is we now started doing something as gelling the gasoline. That was the Japanese invention. We exploited it to a best advantage. What that did, early on, those flamethrowers we used on Guadalcanal, like World War I, only had an effective range of about 30 yards. And they were burning 100% fuel in air, like, because it was vaporizing, as you'll see today, coming out the nozzle. Now imagine, boots on the ground, the human element. You're a flamethrower operator. And what these flamethrowers are not to do, you're not trying to put direct flame impingement on your target. You're not trying to burn your enemy. You're trying to basically incapacitate them primarily. What does fire burn? What's one of the biggest things to burn?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. And like that, by sucking the oxygen out of the air, depleting the oxygen, you're incapacitating the enemy in a bunker or a cave where you normally couldn't get to them. That is going to basically soften them up enough that you can then follow up with small arms, grenades, satchel charge, or hand-to-hand, whatever it takes is necessary. But to do that, it means early on, this flamethrower, this young hard-charging Marine here, had to get within 20 to 30 yards of his target. He had to keep continual flame impingement on the bunker or on the mouth of the cave that he's going against to suck that oxygen out, because all the gasoline was burning right away. Now, the life expectancy at that time for a flamethrower operator was literally a matter of seconds. Because you can imagine, no bunker is left undefended. On the flanks and the other side, there are Japanese soldiers, there are enemy forces trying to take them out. So like that, it was not a user-friendly weapon. 1944, the game changer, we had provided gelled gasoline. This now had 2 primary effects. One, it changed, instead of burning all the gasoline in air, because of the viscosity, the thickness, we're now shooting jello through a nozzle. Not like that. It kept the core of the stream liquid. If you've ever seen films in the latter part of World War II flamethrowers operated, you will literally see a liquid core. Only the surface is vaporizing and burning. This allowed the flamethrower operator to be able to lay flame on target. It would stick, and that liquefied gasoline would continue to burn. That way the operator did not have to continue to keep himself exposed. Like say on the other side of that, like that, also by thickening the gasoline, increasing the viscosity, we have now increased the effective range up to 60 to 70 yards of range. That means the operator doesn't have to get nearly as close to his target, and he can maintain cover a little bit better. By 1944, we're using teams known as blow cord and corkscrew teams to fight against the enemy, using 2 flamethrowers like this, along with 2 Browning automatic riflemen. The Browning automatic rifleman would provide flanking fire, covering against those Japanese trying to take out as we approach the target. The other 2 flamethrower operators, one would lay cover, just like you were laying smoke, allowing the other operator to get close enough to the target. Now again, it's not a user-friendly weapon. You can imagine here, like that, he's slowly but surely starting to wear down. He's wearing 70 pounds of WWII gasoline on his back. Imagine having to run under fire through sugar sand with that on your back. If you think about the helium element, and that's what it's all about, is this technology did not win its World War II. This technology didn't even make history. It took the Marines, the soldiers, the sailors that utilized this technology that made history. So put yourself in their footprint. Imagine yourself being the Marine had to hump this ashore. What your fear factor was. I did an interview several years ago with a veteran that landed as part of a blowtorch and corkscrew stream on the island of Iwo Jima. He talked about the fact that he and his partner were advancing against an enemy bunker. His partner was about 50 yards in advance of him. Like that. He had already charged the tanks in his unit. Like say, that means now you had pressure in the gasoline tank. A Japanese round punctured that tank. Now, unlike what you see in the movies, it did not explode right away. But the gasoline did follow the course of least resistance. As it started to come out that hole, it vaporized, covered him in a cloud, and because at that time the ignition system was a chemical ignition system, just like a railroad flare today, you had a constant burning source, constant ignition source. All of a sudden, that flamethrower operator went up in a ball of fire. Flamethrower operator, that was his partner that I was interviewing, said the first thing that happened to him, he was petrified. He dropped down on the ground, he admitted there and then that he urinated himself on the spot. It scared him that bad. Who wouldn't? But on the other hand, the human element, we as Marines, set the bar for us today. That Marine, as scared as he was, took that technology. He pulled off his belt, his legging laces, anything else he could use to make a rope. He still knew that other Marines' lives depended on his action. So no matter how scared he was, he drugged that flamethrower, keep it as far away from him as he could, but drugged that flamethrower to the target, put it on his back, operated, took out the bunker, and saved a lot of Marines' lives. That's what courage is all about. It's not about the technology, it's about the people that use it. So again, this is why we're here celebrating today. Now what we're going to do now is go ahead and show you a little bit of how this unit actually operates, let you feel the heat. Now how many of you people have seen flamethrowers like this used in the movies? Like that, looks pretty spectacular, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a whole different animal when you see the real animal.
Real life pyro. Alright, this is me crazy. Wait, awesome. Up, wait, up. And whoa!
Well, that's what it's all about. Now, how many of you have actually seen this and feeling the heat off it? A lot different from what you see in the movies, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing I'd like you to walk away with today is you talk to these veterans we have here today, you young hard chargers, you ready to go into my Marine Corps and stuff like that. Just think about it. Is this technology, as tough as it is, as violent as it is not what makes us what we are. It's not what made any of the veterans what we are. It's not what's made history for us. It's the people themselves. We as Marines, soldiers and sailors, you as American citizens and like that. They made the history for us, not the tools. And we'll continue to make the history if we appreciate it. Good to go? Thank you very much.